let's talk about the real college experience. Not the Pinterest aesthetic, not the movie version. I'm being brutally honest. Everything I wish somebody told me before I started. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Today we are filming a what to expect in college. I'm going to give you the real rundown of my college experience and the things I've learned along the way, as well as what I wish people told me before I started. Now if you're new to my channel, I'm Lily. I am currently about to finish my junior year of college. However, it's my 4th year. I'm just a year behind. I originally applied for a bunch of schools straight out of high school, and then literally 2 weeks before my move-in date, I dropped and went to community college instead. Then after that, I ended up transferring locally, and currently I live not with my family anymore, going to school full-time, working. It's a lot. However, I will be starting my senior year coming up, which is kind of crazy to say. Without further ado, let's get into the real questions. So the first part of this video, I'm going to start with academics. That's why you're at college, to get your degree, study. As much as people like to think, it's not all fun and games. So how hard is college really? I'll be honest with you, it's different for everybody. It's different based on your major, it's different based on your professors. Everybody's experience is truly different. I'm so sorry if you hear background noise, I can't control it. When I started college, my school was still online. I took 3 classes completely online my first semester, and honestly, I was fine. I went in scared and realized it really was not that different from high school. Boy, was I wrong. Your first semester is usually just your GEs. The first, couple of semesters actually are just GEs, but it's not always like that. I went into my 2nd semester of my freshman year thinking, wow, piece of cake semester, college is really not that hard. Maybe it's just the classes I planned. My 2nd semester, I was taking biology, chemistry, calculus, and then a English course. Yeah, no, we didn't do well. I ended up dropping my calculus class almost at the end of the semester because I did not do well. I ended up retaking online, still did not do very well. It truly is about what you are putting yourself through. I started off as a biochemistry major, switched to a biology major, and then switched to a psychology major with a minor in biology, which is where I'm at now. And truly, I think that was the best decision I ever made because it led me to meeting some of the best people I've ever met, honestly. But also, it is something I'm definitely more passionate about. And that's the whole thing with school and college. Don't look for jobs that are going to make you a lot of money. Yes, you want a lot of money, especially our economy right now, but do something you're passionate about. That is what will set you up for success in the future. And so switching my major, I definitely found that. Time management. This is something I'm still working on. I have a busy schedule and I don't always get everything done. Sometimes homework gets pushed aside. Sometimes YouTube gets pushed aside. I have 2 tricks that I have kind of always stuck to. I learned this from one of my professors freshman year. Schedule everything 2 days in advance because something will always come up the day you need an assignment done. If you have an assignment due on Friday, turn it in Wednesday because then if you get it done on Wednesday, perfect. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to procrastinate to the last minute. But if something goes wrong on Wednesday, you have 2 extra days to turn that assignment in before it's late. Also, some professors will grade as you turn in assignments. They don't wait till everything's due. So that gives professors the ability to grade your work before the actual due date and also gives you the chance to resubmit assignments. That's all up to the discretion of your professor, but a lot of my professors have been like that where if they graded ahead of time, you can ask them to resubmit it because it's not due yet. And a lot of times they don't have an issue with it, but you have to plan ahead. The second tip, which I actually started doing this semester, is ChatGPT. I'm not talking about doing your assignments for you. I'm talking about you tell ChatGPT, I have this assignment, this assignment, this assignment. I have from this time to this time to do work. Plan me a schedule. What I have been doing this semester is I told ChatGPT my professor's late policy for the assignments of how much I'm going to get doxed if I were to turn it in late. And ChatGPT will plan accordingly, what assignments to do first, and the harder assignments that are worth more points to do them first and get them out of the way. And will write, these assignments can be pushed off to tomorrow if needed. Now, let's say it schedules 45 minutes to read an article and you don't finish within those 45 minutes, move on anyways. move on to the next assignment, and then at the end, come back to it. And that has helped me so much as somebody who, not to self-diagnose, but I think I have ADHD. So as somebody who really has a hard time staying focused on assignments, especially when they're big reading assignments like that, this has worked wonders for me. It helps me like not get stuck on the same thing for so long. And once I move on from it and like stop working on it and come back to it, my productivity is so much better. This is not sponsored, but my number one tool for scheduling, for getting stuff done. I know I said I had 2 tips, but this is a little bonus tip. Kind of going along with the other one, work on big assignments in chunks. You have a presentation coming up at the end of the semester. Work on it in chunks leading up to it. This goes for studying, presentations, essays. Method I used, I don't remember which account on Instagram told me about it, but one of the productivity accounts I follow. 2357. You have an exam on Friday. 2 days ahead of that, Wednesday. You study on Wednesday because you don't want to cram study the night before. You do 3 days before that, Sunday. Study on that Sunday. 5 days before that Sunday is whatever day of the week. And then after that 5 days, you do the whole week after. So then those are the days leading up to the exam that you should like do your big studying chunks on. Because when you study in increments, you're not cram studying everything all at once, trying to get everything done. Now, let's talk about professors. You're gonna come across bad professors. You're gonna come across ones that are the best professors and truly want to teach your students, and others that are in it for the check, are in it for the research opportunity. It's very common. Advocate for yourself. This is your degree that you're going after. This is your money that you're spending to go to school. You are funding their research. Everything comes down to you as a student. Advocate for yourself. Ask questions. That's the biggest thing, is ask questions if you need to. For example, this past semester has been a little tough. I have a professor that he puts all the readings on Canvas, but he doesn't grade anything on Canvas. We submit assignments through email, and a big chunk of our grade is relied on group work, of us sending our essays to a peer editing group and responding to our peers. We get graded not only on our submission, but we get graded on us grading the other people. I got put into a group that not a single person submitted their assignment besides me. So I got the grade for submitting my assignment, but I got a 0 because I didn't submit feedback for theirs because they didn't submit their essay, so I couldn't do feedback. I know what you're thinking. How was that fair? I don't know. I reached out to my professor. I told him for the past 2 essays, my group has not sent their portion. So I physically cannot do my portion. He said he was going to change groups up and left me in the same group. So I kind of got stuck in this group of like people that aren't doing the assignments. And I just shot him a message. I don't think it's fair that I should be getting 0s because I couldn't physically do the work. And he ended up reaching out and saying, hey, I didn't realize that this was going on. Thank you for making me aware. Like, we're not doing any more peer editing groups. However, when I average your grade, I will take those assignments out that you got 0s on. Because essentially I'm right. It's not fair to grade me on something that I couldn't physically do because I had to rely on somebody else to submit theirs and they didn't. So it brought my grade up like 2 letter grades. I asked him if he could switch my group. Not even take those grades out. He said that on his own. It's all about advocating for yourself. Remembering that everything's not set in stone. I've had professors in the past that say, I won't accept late work. You can give me any excuse and I won't accept late work. I forgot to submit something and I just shot them a message. I know you don't accept late work. This is what happened. I had put it in the Dropbox but didn't press submit. I said like, I can send you my editing history, and she actually was like, don't worry about it. You've submitted everything else on time. There's no reason for me not to trust you. Professors go back on their word all the time. You just have to ask. You literally just have to ask them. They will a lot of the times accommodate or come up with some way to accommodate that. Next thing, notes. Let me tell you, high school me, I had the pretty little notes. I did the top with like calligraphy and highlighted everything and drew my little diagrams. Cut that. No. It's one thing if you are drawing diagrams. That's completely different. But do that outside of class. My biggest tip, first of all, get an iPad. Depending on your major, get an iPad. Because my productivity went up after I did that. Write your notes sloppy. Most classes are about an hour and 15 minutes, most lecture classes, to get through a whole unit. Don't take time trying to make them pretty. Write everything down. If you want to make them pretty later, you do that. If that's how you study, good for you. But in class, Make them sloppy. Write little notes. The amount of times that my notes in college, like the PDF, and I just have like arrows drawn everywhere just trying to like connect things together, those are the best notes I have. Kind of speaking along with that, analogies. If you're sitting in class and you're talking about something and you kind of get an analogy in your head of like, oh, like it's similar to this doing this. Write that down. Creating analogies is the best thing you could do. Especially when you are in like a STEM degree. When I took my bio classes, I used a lot of analogies to like remember biological processes like glycolysis and respiration in general. Like I connected it to like, I can't even remember, but so many different other processes. And those analogies like helped me in the end because when I'm sitting there on my test, I'm able to visualize the analogy I made and therefore turn it into biological terms. The last thing for academics, I'm going to talk about burnout. It's very common. This whole semester, I feel like I've been in a state of constant stress, burnout. Take everything day by day and listen to your body is the best advice I have for you. The amount of stress that college causes, like, is truly ridiculous. You are going to have your days where you do not feel like getting up, and that's okay. But you need to then realize if you're going to push off your work like that, you got to make it up at some point. Find a time where you work best. Personally, I work best towards the evening. I used to do my homework literally at start at 8 p.m. and stay up late. That was when I didn't have a job. Now that I have a job, it's changed because I have to go to sleep earlier. Now that I live with my boyfriend, I know that after 5:30ish, all productivity goes out the window because the moment that he comes home, I lose focus. He'll turn on the TV, I can't focus anymore. And it's unfair of me to ask him to not watch TV because I'm busy, you know? I had all day to do my work and I waited until he got home. That's not fair to him. So I've had to adjust my own schedule. Take advantage of the library. If you have a library on campus, use it. Normally, I can't focus if the TV's on, but I can sit in the bottom floor of our library, which is like the talking floor, and just have absolute focus, even when there's people talking around me. There's something about the air in the library that just truly locks you in. And going along with the ChatGPT tip, I started doing it at the library and I got through 6 or 7 assignments. Don't study in your room. If you have anywhere else to study, don't study in your room. At the library, study at a coffee shop, study in the living room, on the floor, anywhere but your bed, because you will not get anything done. That is a literal fact. I'm telling you, I cannot get anything done. Even the desk that you guys are sitting at right now, I can't get things done very often. I need to be outside of my room in order to have absolute focus. Enough about academics. Let's talk about friends and let's talk about roommates. Like I said, everybody's college experience is different. I happen to go to a school that isn't very social, I'll say. It's a big commuter school and a lot of people come into class, go home. Not a lot going on. On top of that, a lot of the stuff on my campus is racial based. As somebody who is white, I feel like it's not my place necessarily to put myself into these ethnic clubs and groups. Most of our sororities are heritage based. It doesn't feel like a place that I would fit in, and that's totally okay. Most people say join clubs, but that's not always everybody's ideal option. I struggle with this thing called making friends for the semester and never talking to them again. The amount of times I have made friends during the semester and never spoken to them afterwards. I have so many people in my contacts that I haven't spoken to in years. And this was the same at both community college and my 4-year. However, I think I finally actually gotten to a point where I'm making some decent friends. This past semester, we've done not a lot of group work, but a lot of, you do your own assignment, but then you actually just talk about it with your group. And we've done a lot of opening up together to the point that a lot of us, we have each other's numbers and after class, we'll go hang out. On top of that, most of them are graduating the same semester I am. And so that's kind of bonded a lot of us into staying close to one another. We've all talked about the fact that it truly is really hard to make friends at our school. I think I finally found a little bit of a group that works out. You know, I wouldn't say I'm shy, but I have to be comfortable with you in order to start opening up. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. I don't really have much advice on friends, honestly. Besides that, talk to the people in your classes if you have the opportunity to. Try to reach out outside of school. It's probably going to be different at other schools. If you dorm, you're going to have an easier chance of making friends. It truly is a different experience. I feel like I can't really talk about necessarily necessarily because I don't have a lot of college friends. But talk to the people in your classes. Discuss with them experiences, get to know them. And even just shooting them a text of like, hey, do you want to get lunch after class today? A lot of times people are also looking for friends. They're not going to say, no, I don't want any more friends. No, like everybody's looking to make new friends. It's just about how you approach the situation. I can kind of talk a little bit about roommates as I do live not just with my boyfriend, but like his family. It feels like a roommate situation. We kind of have similar lifestyles. He definitely is a little bit more type A than I am, but not quite type A. Like he's in the middle. I'm a little bit more type B. We're not perfect. Like we definitely do have our moments when it comes to like cleaning, stuff like that. We try our best to take turns, and that is like the biggest thing. On the board back here, we have a cleaning schedule and we rotate between the two of us who does what. That's starting the wash, hanging up our clothes, that's washing dishes, taking the trash out. It's more so to hold each other accountable and ourselves accountable. If one of us lacks and the other one like picks up the slack for him, we'll do like a little ×2 next to it. And I think that could kind of go along with roommates as well, like creating that schedule and holding each other accountable. But it's all about if they are open to that idea. Not everybody is going to take that lightly. Sometimes if one person's slacking and you try to say like, hey, stop slacking, like you have your chores to do, they might get a little pressed. Say, I'm busy, I have things to do. And this is hard because it's like they have to have that mindset of like, wow, it's bugging them. Let me just get it done so that they stop bothering me. And not everybody has that mindset. I don't know how to change that. Honestly, having an open conversation about that would help. That means that you also have to do that too. Be on top of yourself and hold yourself accountable. And when other people hold you accountable for your stuff, you need to take a step back and say, they're right. It's probably bugging them that I'm not doing it. Let me just get it over with. On top of that, just having a constant communication. I've heard a lot of college stories about like roommates like taking stuff without permission, just like being petty. Why? It's really not that hard. I have a great relationship with my boyfriend's sister. We have a lot in common, so it's easy for us to get along. We would have such a worse relationship, the two of us, if one of us was like being sneaky and like going to each other's room or like wasn't open to the idea of like having the other one in like their presence. Obviously, I'm the one that moved into their house, and so it kind of threw everybody off guard that I was moving in. But everybody welcomed me in, and even though it was a change, everybody adjusted to it, which I'm so grateful for. And I mean, I came in very nervous and very just self-conscious and self-aware of like being in the bathroom for too long because I don't want to be a burden to people. But now we've gotten to a point where it's like, hey, I heard you have like a little portable oven in your room. Like, can I use it? And now, like, I can go in there and make something and she'll walk in to the room, see me in her bedroom and be like, hey, and not question why I'm there because we have that level of trust. But everybody has to be like open-minded is the best advice I have for that. That doesn't mean that you have to be besties with your roommates and the people you live with. Yes, everyone's gonna have their moments where like they aren't feeling themselves. Not everybody's lifestyles click. Not everybody's like habits click. But having an open mind about it and like realizing that could kind of make or break your living situation. Obviously, if you have like a horrible roommate, it's kind of difficult. If it's just like little tiny things, kind of understanding that like you probably have your own little tiny things that bother them too. Not everybody is perfect. Not everybody is going to adapt to your lifestyle and vice versa. And nobody expects that of you. But just having an open mind and kind of remembering that like they have their lifestyle, I have mine. We could either try to adjust and try to like coexist with one another, or we can just get along for the time being and go our separate ways at the end of the year, you know? I think my last thing to say about friends is loneliness is so normal. I don't necessarily like being around the same people all the time. I tend to definitely isolate myself a little bit. Like I said, I'm not a shy person, but I also won't make the first move until I feel comfortable enough to like speak. There is no harm in going to the library by yourself. There's no harm in going and getting lunch and sitting with yourself. Like, everybody kind of has to have their alone time. Even, like, with my boyfriend. There's times, like, I love being around him. I could have my social battery at -10 and still be in his presence. But that's because, one, I'm comfortable with him, but two, because I'm not with him all the time. If I was with him all the time, then I think I'd probably drive myself insane. But because I do have my alone time and away from him, I'm able to kind of like, when he's around, be more excited to see him. And that's a lot saying that, like, we do live together. Like, I don't need to be around him all the time. And that's how I am with friends too. I like being alone. Every once in a while, I love hanging out with my friends. I love going out to the bar. But I need my alone time. And I think everybody does too. And it's so normal in college to feel a little bit alone. Especially going in, not knowing anybody. It's so normal to feel alone in college. It's about finding the right people. But it's about embracing that loneliness as well. Because you will learn. There's a huge difference between high school and college. High school, you're with people that you have known for 5 to 10 years that you grew up with from like elementary school. Whereas college, a lot of the time you're coming in not knowing anybody. And that's totally okay. College is about meeting new people. And you need to be alone in order to do that. The next part, social life. As I said earlier, my school's a little bit of a commuter school. We don't have a big like party scene at our school. We have sororities and frats, but we don't have like sorority houses, frat houses. They're more like clubs on campus. There definitely are parties that exist. Do I go to them? No. I mean, now that I'm 21, there's not really like a party scene as much as there are like going to the bars. I have gone to college parties before. It's about sticking to your morals, honestly. If you want to drink, drink. I'm not condoning underage drinking. But don't let people peer pressure you. It's very easy in college to be peer pressured, especially when you do live away from home and you don't have your parents like constantly watching your every move. It's definitely easy to slip under and let your grades slip and kind of focus more on the party scene. It kind of goes along with balance. Find your balance. Find what's important to you. If you're just going to college just to party, why? You're there to get your degree. I mean, yes, parties are fun, but don't let yourself slip because of it. Because at the end of the day, are you going to be proud about parties that you went to throughout college, or are you going to be proud about the degree that you earned and the hard work that you put in? That's kind of my mindset on it. It also could just be, I'm not a very big party person. I will say, I definitely did want that party scene, especially at 18, 19, watching everybody that I knew from high school going off to these party schools and like every weekend getting blackout drunk. And it's like, yeah, the FOMO does hit a little bit. I won't lie. It definitely does. Now that I'm older, drinks are expensive. I have bills to pay. Like I can't always go out. And I think once you're 21 and you're actually like having responsibilities, you start to realize like drinking's not fun all the time. Every once in a while when all your friends are in town, yes, of course, go out with your friends, like have a social life, not at the risk of your responsibilities, not at the risk of your job, not at the risk of your school, not at the risk of the law. Like it's not worth it. Again, maybe it's because I didn't go to like a big party school. I'm not saying don't drink, but I also know when the appropriate time is. Like I said, it truly is all about balance. On top of that, you don't need to drink, you don't need to do drugs to have fun. I think I'm just a big homebody, especially now that I'm older. It's like, gas is expensive, drinks are expensive, restaurants are expensive. I love staying home, cooking a home-cooked meal. I know I just said you don't need drinks to have fun, but cracking open like a seltzer with my boyfriend and just watching a movie. Because I don't have to do my makeup, I don't have to drive anywhere, I don't have to worry about finding a ride home. Like, again, every once in a while, yes, go have your fun, girl. Like, I'm not saying don't have fun. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. You can have fun in other ways. You can have movie nights without drinks. Have game nights with your friends. You can explore, especially as a freshman, explore the city that you live in. Because after college, you're probably going to move back to your hometown for a little bit unless you have the money and a job offer to go somewhere else. But 9 times out of 10, you're gonna go back to your hometown. So explore the city that you're living in college while you can. The next section I'm gonna talk about is taking care of yourself. That is probably one of your biggest priorities in college, is taking care of yourself. Especially if you're somebody that moved away from home and is dorming. It's the first time out of the house, you're like freshly 18 and you don't have your parents watching over you. You might feel that freedom. That freedom comes with responsibility. Something I can truly like talk about deeply is mental health. I will be the first one to say I grew up with horrible mental health. I grew up not in the best environment. Up until I was like 15 or 16, I I didn't even realize how bad my mental health was. I knew that I was sad growing up. Like, I knew I was struggling, but I was definitely afraid to express that. At school is different. I would talk to my friends about it. I feel like every teenager is like that. You talk to your friends, but you won't talk to your parents. You feel embarrassed and you feel like they're gonna judge you. Truly, that's not the case. I grew up very, very anxious. Even to this day, I still have very bad anxiety. And entering like a new environment, like a new school, that anxiety will go up. My biggest advice is take advantage of your school's health care. I think literally every school I've ever looked at, you get charged your health fee anyways. A couple $100s a semester to go towards health fees. And that goes towards paying, whether it's physical health, mental health, medications. You pay for that already in your tuition. Might as well take advantage of it. My school specifically, I've gotten x-rays done. They offer condoms, birth control, prescription drugs, as well as like in-person and telehealth therapy. Therapy is definitely helpful. I definitely had like a predisposition about what it would be like. And I will say my first therapist, not the best. I love being able to express like my emotions and what I've gone through and not feel judged. And that's the biggest thing, is nobody's judging you for what you experience, especially if it's something that like the world dealt you and you had no control over. Oh, that's my biggest stressor in college. Not a single person cares what you are up to. Everybody is too worried about themselves. That's coming from a college student. I'm walking down the walkway. You might think I'm judging you. I am sitting there stressing about school, stressing about work. Not a single person is worried about what you are doing, what you're wearing, who you talk to, what situations you're stuck in. No one's judging you, especially once you enter like your 20s. Ooh, I'm only 21, and I will tell you that the hand you are dealt in your 20s is horrible. You go through so much changing in college. Your mindsets change entirely. I am an entirely different person than I was freshman year. Speaking of freshman year, as I said earlier, my first semester college, I thought I was golden. Straight A student, I was gonna do amazing things in college. Literally a month later, got dumped and spent an entire year begging for that attention back, and it destroyed me. This was all before my channel. Not necessarily the breakup, but how I reacted. My one piece of advice is you are the only thing you can control, especially in that situation. I can't control when somebody is ready to want me again, but I can control how I channel my anger. And even after I finally gave up and started to move on, I still had a lot of healing to do. I am in such a better mental place after I finally did the healing I needed to and let it go. Had that perspective of I can't control other people. I can only control myself, and took a step back from everything. I pretty much isolated myself. I'm not saying that's healthy, but in this situation, that's what I needed, and it led me to the outcome of being in a better and more stable relationship that has lasted me the past almost 2.5 years. And it wouldn't be like that if I hadn't gone through that process. Sometimes that's what you need. Isolate yourself. Take a break from everything you want to do. Focus on what you need to do to help yourself. In the beginning of that breakup, yes, talking to my friends was healthy. But when I got to a point where I felt like I was repeating myself and I thought I was bugging my friends with like saying the same thing over and over, was when I realized I needed to take a break from my friends, from relationships, from literally everything other than work and school. I would go to work, go to school, come home. No social life. That might sound like bad advice, but that is the best thing I could have ever done for myself, because it truly gave me the space to heal on my own and to protect myself and give myself a perspective I hadn't seen before. Kind of changing the course of that discussion, sticking to routines. I've uploaded my morning routine, my night routine, self-care days, all that jazz. Is it a little bit glorified? Maybe. I'll be real with you. Sometimes, yes. What I can say is you're gonna have your bad days. Not every day you're gonna wake up happy. Not every day you're gonna go to sleep happy. You're gonna have nights where you feel so drained and so tired that you don't want to do a full skincare routine. And that's okay. You can always start again tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day, and it's so cliche. If you are feeling totally drained, it is okay to not do your skincare for a night. Especially college students, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially girls. It's not just with school and trying to succeed academically, also trying to be like that best version of ourselves. And a lot of that comes from comparison, comparing yourself to social media and influencers and wanting to be perfect, wanting to have the perfect skin, the perfect hair, and it causes stress to want to be perfect all the time. On top of that, there's a little thing that the girls have mentioned called second puberty, where basically it's that development from your teenage body to your womanhood body. A lot of it has to do with eating habits. Your eating habits aren't always the best in college. A lot of us are broke college students that only can afford cheap fast food most nights. I think a big thing is stop comparing yourself. Stop looking at other girls that have perfect skin and perfect hair and look put together all the time, because I can tell you right now, they're not. I feel like every time I've vlogged at school, I always have my hair done, my makeup done, have a cute outfit on, but the reality is, most days, I look like this. I'm literally filming this after coming home from school today, and this is what I wore. I have an Align tank underneath this, and I had my Ugg boots on. I don't think that look cute. My hair is frizzy. Yes, I have makeup on, but you can still see my acne through it. Kind of going back to like the fast food point, trying to keep a healthy diet. I know I just said that like a lot of us are broke college students and are eating cheap fast food, but that's not always ideal. Right now, this is my setup. Welcome to my kitchen. Right here is a little stovetop. Behind it, right there, is a blender. There, I have my coffee maker. And then at the end, I have my mini fridge and my microwave. I have a set of pots and pans where I cook my food. This is my kitchen. And that's for nights that like I don't eat out. I'm trying to do more cooking because it's very easy, especially when you're starting that second puberty, not feel happy in your own skin and with your body. I try to do 4 nights a week where I actually cook my own food. A big thing I'm actually starting to do right now that I have my little stovetop, is cooking my own meat. There's been so many nights where it's like I make myself a quesadilla, and yes, it's food, but there's no protein. You want to take care of yourself as much as you can. It doesn't mean that every single night you have to stick to that like routine. You still want to try to make an attempt to take care of yourself. I feel like I'm contradicting myself a little bit because I just said it's okay to not have your days, but overall you still want to try to live a healthy lifestyle and to build those habits of cooking dinner each night instead of going to get fast food, because if you take care of your body's going to take care of you. If you feed it properly, your body is going to have more energy. Guys, I'm lactose intolerant and I eat ice cream all the time and then have a stomachache after. And then I regret it. If I take care of my body, if I got dairy-free ice cream, my body wouldn't treat me the way it's treating me. Again, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit, but you can also have your slip days and that's okay. Progress isn't linear. Don't be hard on yourself for having little slips like that. The last thing I want to talk about for self-care is the gym and working out. Goes along with the last advice about food habits. You want to try to get into a routine. If you slip, that's okay. Guys, I haven't been in the gym since August. It's April 29th. It's almost May. And it's because I don't have time. I truly don't have the time to go. It's not even about motivation. I do want to go. It's about finding the time to go while balancing school, balancing work, balancing YouTube, my other platforms. I try to be active in different ways as well. Whether it's Pilates, whether it's yoga, whether it's the gym, whether it's dance classes. If you have a gym at your school, utilize it. I am definitely more productive when I'm already out of the house. If I plan to go to the gym on the days I'm already out and like at school, let's say, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to my class and then I'm gonna go to the gym right after, I'm more likely to go because I'm already out and about and like up doing things and being productive. I feel more inclined to go. My advice for the gym is like, plan it accordingly. If you have a day where you don't have any reason to leave the house and you want to take a rest day, use that to your advantage, but plan your gym around either before work or after work on your way home. It kind of goes along with like not studying in your room. If you come home and like come sit down and say like, oh well, I'm gonna go home for 30 minutes and then leave and go to the gym again, no you're not. You're gonna find excuses to not go. But if you just go on the way home, you don't really have a moment to like sit down and talk yourself out of it. Our next section, money and adulting. Like I said, it is so easy to be a broke college student. It truly is hard to work a job and go to school, especially if you're financially independent. Right now, I am so lucky that my boyfriend and his family don't charge me rent. I buy my own groceries, and I know that's not everybody's situation. However, I do pay for all of my my schooling on my own. I've never had any financial help from my parents when it comes to schooling. But that was something I knew about going into college, is that I was gonna have to pay for it all on my own. The moment you start making your own money, it is very common to be like, oh, I have all this money in my account now, let's go shopping, let's buy everything I've ever wanted for myself. And that was kind of my mindset at 17 when I started working in high school. Let me spend it. My paychecks, when I was spending 40 bucks on gas out of the 600 I made, yeah, I was spending money like I had no limit. Now it's a little bit harder. I have gas, I have groceries, I have my car insurance, I have my phone bill, I have school. It might not sound like a lot, but it adds up. Every single month, it adds up. My biggest tip, which is kind of a common method, is the 50-30-20, meaning 50% of your paycheck goes towards your needs. In my case, it would be my gas, my groceries, my car insurance, my phone bill, my school, really any sort of like necessity I might need in my life. For other people, that might also include rent, utilities. If you have a house, it's your mortgage payment. You want to spend about half of your paycheck, or less if you can. 30% goes towards wants. That would be my Spotify subscription, going out to restaurants, new clothes, anything that like maybe I'm wanting it, but I can push it off until I have a little bit extra money. And then 20% goes into savings. I can't stress that enough. The moment that I get my paycheck in my account, I put my 20% in my savings and keep that there. Your savings are extremely important. So I get paid on the 1st and I get paid on the 15th of the month. And so on those days, I do my budgeting and I do my 20% in, but anything that I didn't spend from the previous paycheck also goes straight to my savings. So often it comes out to a little bit over 20%, because if I didn't spend it, I'm just going to put it in savings. It racks up my savings and it keeps kind of my budget around the same each month for my bills and my wants. It keeps it relatively averaged around the same amount. Usually my needs for a 2-week period is going to be about $300-$350. My wants are going to be about $150-$175-ish. So it keeps everything a little bit structured. On top of that, there are tons of, not deals I would say, but like ways for college students to save money. Simply looking if things that you're already paying for have a like student option. My Spotify account, I was paying $12.99. They have a student option that is $5.99 for Spotify, Hulu, and Showtime, all because I'm a student. My school right now, which I don't use this, but our school emails have ChatGPT, and we get ChatGPT Plus for free. There's also a lot of apps or websites that do make it easy for you to shop if you're a student, like Student Beans, for example. They put a lot of their deals on there to show, hey, just because you're a college student, here you go, here's a deal, we get it. Make use of those while you can, because before you realize it, you're graduating and you're no longer able to use those student accommodations. The last section is going to be blowing up in college. I feel like it kind of goes along with self-care a little bit, but college is a time of finding yourself. As I said earlier, you go through massive changes. I technically was supposed to be graduating this semester. I can kind of speak on the perspective of the difference of freshman to senior year. You are an entirely different person. 18-year-old you is nowhere near the same person as 21-year-old you. Finding yourself is not just about like having cute outfits in school, going to get coffee every morning before class. No, it is about finding your passions. Like I said about loneliness, you go into college kind of alone. You don't have anybody telling you what to do and what path to take. It is all on you, and that is a lot of pressure. But if you're doing something that you are passionate about, your body will tell you you're on the right track. You will feel that internally, that you are on the right track and that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Your intuition is so right. That goes way past just partying and peer pressure. That goes into literally every decision you make. If your gut is telling you no, listen to it. Let go of high school drama. And hey, I can't blame you. I am still not over some of the stuff that happened to me in high school, especially around my senior year. There is so much drama that I have gone through. You probably will never see those people again. Maybe you'll run into them. One of the most dramatic people I know, and someone I had the most issues with in school, literally lives on the other side of the country now. I doubt I will probably ever see her again. Let it go. Let it go. It took me so long to let things go. Remove that out of your life. If you have social media, take them off. It's not necessarily about seeing their posts, but it's more so about like, you will find yourself checking their Instagram, checking what they're doing, just because you haven't let it go. And you want to see either if they're successful or you want to see if they're struggling. A lot of the times it's the second one. It's almost human nature. The people that did you wrong, you want to see them struggle. You want to see karma hit them. Let it go. Don't worry about it. If life's treating them badly, it's not your responsibility to like even even look at it anymore. You might want to, but don't, because it's just gonna continue to live in your mind. Life has a funny way of telling you when things aren't right for you. You could live in the same city as somebody that did you wrong for years and never cross paths with them because they were not supposed to be in your life for a reason. My life has gotten so much better when I started letting things go. As I talked about earlier, the whole situation with being dumped, my life got so much better when I just let it go. I stopped being angry, and it partially was like I started to focus on myself and I started to move on and realize that those feelings weren't even there anymore, and I was holding on to something that like had already died. I was holding on to that anger because I wanted to see him upset, and I'm aware that makes me kind of a bad person. I will admit, not everybody is perfect. It's about how you change that over time. I wanted that karma to hit, and I wanted to be there to watch it happen, so I could almost like not mock the situation, but like be like, well, look what happened. Like, karma's a bitch. But honestly, the moment I let it go and just like started to focus on myself, everything got so much better, and I can't help but smile at it because it's so true. My spark came back. I could literally put in pictures right now of like the year 2022. Y'all, no. I was depressed. I was crying all the time, and the moment I let it all go, I let all the anger I forgot about it. I focused on myself, I moved on, and I let it go, and I got my spark back. I started to glow. I started my channel. Like, everything got so much better, and I felt happy and I felt like myself again. Embrace the change. It might be scary, but embrace the fact that you are changing and getting rid of those bad habits, bad mindsets, toxic environments, toxic people. Embrace it. Again, listen to your body. If it's telling you somebody is toxic and you need to get away from them, listen to it. Get out of that situation, get away. Again, a lot of this was based on my own college experience and what I have learned. If I could give one major piece of advice to sum up this whole video, it would be listen to yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else, and you are the only person that you will spend your entire life with. Listen to yourself, treat yourself, work on yourself, do anything to benefit yourself, because you are the most important person in your life. College doesn't define you. College is some of the hardest years of your life, but it's more so about how you grow from those situations, get past bad professors, you grow from a bad grade, grow from toxic people. It's about how you do it, not about what you do during the time. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyways, that is everything I kind of have to say about college thus far. Ending my junior year, it kind of feels a little bit surreal. As I talked about before, I thought I had 2 more years left, and now I'm gonna be a senior in the fall and kind of experiencing like my last school moments, last undergrad moments. So with that all being said, I am going to end today's video here. If you listened this entire thing, mwah, I love you guys. Like, if you just listen to me yap, ooh, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, whatever you need to do. If you're already in college, go ahead and comment down below your favorite memory thus far. And if you're watching this from high school or even middle school, comment your biggest question or like biggest fear about college, and hopefully we'll get some answers. And subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Wanna fill your cup with some morning coffee. Wanna tell you all the promises I wanna keep.